Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. Well, I trust you enjoyed my mini-series on the Beatles and the 3 video series that I did. And in that last video, yes, I talked about the fact that, yes, they are influential and that the notoriety is certainly something that they deserve to have. So I trust you enjoyed that one. Well, we go from the Beatles to a band that was formed in 1958, Barry, Robin and Maurice. And certainly they were born in the Isle of Man, but the family moved to Australia between 1955 and 1967, and it was while they were in Australia that they started their career in 1958. Back in 1967, they did move back to the UK because they just felt that was going to be more success for them over there, and so they moved back to the UK in 1967. These guys have released 22 albums from 1965 to 2001. And in those 22 albums, they've released 83 singles. Now, we're not sure of the number of albums these guys have sold, but some say 120 million albums. Other sources say 220 million albums, making these guys one of the most successful acts of all time. And of course, the artist I'm talking about today is the Bee Gees. Barry Gibb, Robin Gibb, and Maurice Gibb. And of course, in the Gibb family was also Andy Gibb, but he had a solo career. As well as their singing, and I'll get onto that in a minute, they are also renowned for their songwriting, and over 2,500 artists have recorded the songs for the Bee Gees, which makes them second in influence, as it's been sort of said by a few people now, second only to Lennon and McCartney for their significance in their songwriting. And so that's a pretty high praise indeed. In fact, I can remember Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton, who of course are country music superstars. When they needed to come together to do a duet song, they went to the Bee Gees, who wrote Islands in the Stream for them, and that was an absolutely massive hit for Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. And so this just goes to show how well thought of as songwriters these guys actually are. And of course, there is an album. We can't talk about the Bee Gees without talking about this particular album. But what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to look at that album next time, because it deserves a video all on its own. So you'll have to wait for that one. These guys have received a Hollywood star on the Walk of Fame in 1979. In 1994, they were inducted into the Songwriting Hall of Fame. And in 1997, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by Brian Wilson. Now, of course, Brian was with the band The Beach Boys, and the Wilson brothers also knew what it meant to actually start a successful band and to have the harmonies that the Beach Boys are famous for. Because we can't talk about the Bee Gees without talking about their vocals. The Bee Gees are famous for their harmonies. It does not get any better than these guys. And you think about the range of songs that they sing. They sing, full-blown happy pop songs to absolutely stunning, beautiful ballads. They are all-round performers and all-round songwriters. And I suppose what makes the Bee Gees so incredible as vocalists is that there is nobody else in the music industry anywhere remotely close to them. They have a sound all of their own. And it is a sound that has actually brought them incredible worldwide success. And I suppose The word that comes to mind when I think about the Bee Gees is this word distinctive. Now, what do I mean by the word distinctive? Well, I suppose distinctive means, first of all, there's nothing else even remotely close to the word. You know, the Bee Gees in particular, there's no one close to them in their sound. But I think probably what is more important about the word distinctive, apart from that, is that there is no like, look at us, aren't we good stuff in distinctive, because their work and their creativity doesn't need it. It just stands up. It is so good. Distinctive is not distinctive because it tells the world it's distinctive. Distinctive is distinctive just because it is. And that is what makes the Bee Gees so awesome, is the fact that they are distinctive with their vocals. And I probably just need to go on a little bit defense about the Bee Gees as well at this point, because their vocals are so distinctive and so incredible and so amazing. They have certainly over the years had their fair share of parody about them. I think it's quite sad that guys who absolutely do not have to prove themselves even remotely have so many people creating parody about them. And I think it's quite sad that, you know, the distinctiveness of the Bee Gees has been ridiculed as it has. It is not warranted. These guys have got absolutely nothing to prove at all. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Songwriting Hall of Fame, Hollywood star, and by the way, these guys are also Grammy Award winners, American Music Award winners, and Brit Award winners. So absolutely nothing to prove. And so I think, you know, it's quite sad that such incredible vocal ability has been parodied as much as it has. And because as far as I'm concerned, no one comes even remotely close to the brilliance of the Bee Gees. Not just their vocals, but their vocal harmonies, their songwriting, just the all-round performers that these guys actually are. They also play when they're performing as well, and so they really are all-round performers. When I think about the word distinctive, I suppose we think about something that the world has never seen before and probably will never see again. And I think, you know, every now and then, and often distinction comes not from being like other people. Distinction comes from being different and being so confident in your ability to be different that you just go with it. And so when people look and think, oh, what's this? They're quickly swept away to the fact that there is nothing quite like in the world like it. And I think those who have been brave enough to be distinctive and to create something that is just like memorable has certainly found success through that. You think of the car industry, you think of clothing, you think of hotels. There is distinction in many industries, and this is distinction based on the fact that their name is backed up by extreme quality and extreme high levels of service. In fact, there's a story of a car manufacturer, and I won't say who they are, but the story goes that there was a guy driving in beautiful, pristine alpine country, and his car broke down. So he rang up the dedicated number that this car manufacturer has and said, "Oh, hey, listen, just letting you know, my car's broken down and I'm in the middle of nowhere and I need some help." So the car manufacturer got their mechanic and put him on a plane and sent him out to where this car was. And sure enough, he fixed the car and the guy went on his way. Anyway, the guy rings up the car manufacturer and says, "Oh, you saved, that was fantastic what you did for me. Thank you very much for the effort you went to. It must have costed you an absolute fortune. I'm just wondering how much I owe you." And the car manufacturer said, "We have no record of one of our cars breaking down, sir." And that's where the conversation ended. Distinctive. Because, you know, just that's what distinctive is. It's standing by the absolute supreme quality of your product and knowing that you certainly have got something to offer the world. I think distinctive, you can be you got to be really careful about this word. I mean, if you just go around the world thinking, well, I'm distinctive, world will just go, no, you're not. No, you're not. But if you just quietly go around your business, you may put out the classy photos from time to time, and just the brand takes on a bit of an iconic status. Distinctive becomes part of the world, and people have to buy your product because they want to be aligned with being distinctive themselves. And so I don't know where distinctive starts. Maybe you think you're onto something, and then you have this bit mindset of absolute premium quality, and you just start creating and see where it goes. It might create some traction, and then you find yourself with a distinctive product or service. That's what distinctive is, I'm thinking. So, I don't know if you watching this video, you might be thinking, well, maybe I've got something distinctive. I suppose maybe the question is, first of all, is it something that the world already has? I think the world is certainly overflowing with many good things at the moment, but I think what happens with distinctive, it starts out a little bit unusual, and then it turns into something quite amazing. That's what distinctive is. And secondly, can you market it in a way where you're not blowing your bag too much about it? The product is the thing that speaks more than you say anything about it. I think that's what maybe distinctive is. So if you do you have a distinctive product? Think about those two things. And I saw, if you have a distinctive product, you'll know about it. And, the encouragement is certainly to pursue that and to see where it goes. Now, I believe that, the Bee Gees certainly knew that they had something distinctive, and they certainly pursued that, and they have found worldwide success because of that. So you can be distinctive, you've just got to know how to do it, really. So I hope that will be an encouragement for you today, and certainly as we consider the Bee Gees, they certainly have been distinctive, because there is no one vaguely even remotely close to how incredible these guys are with their vocal delivery. So trust that will be an encouragement for you today. Well, on to the clips. So I've got 3 songs from them. We've got How Deep Is Your Love. Now that came off the 1977 iconic release, which I'm going to talk about next time, so I won't tell you what the album is, but this is the performance from 2001, and in that particular performance, we've got Maurice's last performance, because one of the tragedies of the Bee Gees is, and particularly for Barry, who's the only one left, and Barry is the eldest of the Bee Gees, of the Gibbert brothers, because we had Andy, who had his solo career. He died at the age of 30 in 1988. And then Maurice died in 2003 at the age of 53. And Robin died at the age of 62 in 2012. All chronic disease deaths, those 3 deaths. And way too soon for all 3 of them, really. And so to see this 2001 performance of How Deep Is Your Love, where Maurice is singing here, is pretty poignant and pretty amazing to see it. So that's why I've chosen How Deep Is Your Love. And I suppose this song really shows, there's 3 songs that really show their distinctiveness of their vocals. One I'll certainly get onto next time, but certainly Too Much Heaven is one of the songs that really shows off their harmonies and their vocals really, really well. I think this song, How Deep Is Your Love, too, just shows off how distinctive their vocals are. So that's why I have chosen that one. We then got, and then in 1997, they did bring out a live video of one of their concerts, One Night Only, from Las Vegas. That's an absolutely incredible concert, and if you are a Bee Gees fan, you need to get that particular video, because if you might have it already, but if you don't, you need to get it because it is absolutely fantastic. And so, from there, I've gone for a song that came off the album Not Idea from 1967. And here we see Robin Gibb singing the song I Started a Joke. And again, the poignancy of the song, given that Robin is no longer around, there's something absolutely quite hauntingly beautiful about these songs. These words are really unusual, and just delivered so well by Robin Gibb in this particular performance from this iconic 1997 One Night Only Las Vegas performance. So I trust you watch that one as well. These guys have got an incredible range. They really, really do. And that's just what makes these guys so good at performing. And then I've also gone for a song that came off the Still Waters album from 1997. This is the official clip of the song Alone. And obviously for Barry Gibb, this is very much the case for him now. But I picked this particular official clip just because there are some flashbacks to Bee Gees being together and what made them as good as they actually were. So a bit of an upbeat song for the Bee Gees, so I've gone for that particular one. So I trust that you'll enjoy those three videos, the links of which are in the description below. And I've also, by the way, included my last video from the Beatles and just as a bit of a summary of them. So if you want to recap on that one, feel free to do that as well. But today, of course, we are looking at the Bee Gees and just what they've made them so good. Well, that's it for today. If you do like this video, please give it the thumbs up and subscribe. If you've come back for another video and you have subscribed, I appreciate you very, very much indeed. So thank you for that. Well, next time we go on to probably one of the most defining albums, particularly in the late 1970s, that the Bee Gees had a lot to do with. And it's also probably their signature tune. That's why we'll be giving this song an video all of its own. So until then, I'll catch you around.